Hello guys, welcome back to the channel, and today we're going to be relocating the rack on my 350Z. The biggest kicker here is we didn't spend $400 on a kit. No, we decided to do it ourselves. I saw in a TJ Hunt video a while ago that they cut the rack mounts off in the car and re-welded them on in a different location. I figured I'd give that a go, and it was supposed to be a DIY $0 rack relocation. However, I did end up needing a shaft extension for my steering shaft. So before we get into it, I just wanted to let you know this video was over the course of about a month, so you'll see multiple haircuts, multiple outfit changes, and I'll try to make it as smooth as possible. So let's check it out. And I completely took everything apart. There's a jack and oh, my subframe. So basically I was watching an old TJ Hunt video and they moved the rack forward. Now, FDF Fab makes a kit. The kit basically cuts all the way back to here, all the way through this hole, and puts this mount, like, back here, I think? So in TJ's video, they actually pointed out the fact that the rack can move forward from the stock location. There's a solid inch here, which is added by this piece right here. Basically, you grind off this weld and you grind off that weld and you put this weld where that weld is. If that makes sense. Now, I'm no fabricator, but I think we can manage this one. And then on the other side, you just take out that space. Like, you cut this bottom weld off, you take out that space, and then you just mount the rack closer. So I wanted to take you guys along, more of a how-to video and less of an update video. So I'll see how bad we can mess it up. We have the one mount peeled back. I found a rock. I'm just gonna grind down all this weld. That one's off. That's cool, just gotta get it cleaned up. So I held off as long as I could. But we probably shouldn't use this disc anymore. I'm gonna go ahead, I'm gonna try to get the rest of this piece off. This last little bit I couldn't really get to. But I got most of the way through this side. So I'm gonna see about trying to get that piece off. If it doesn't work, I guess I'll just wait till I get another cutoff wheel. I did have a bunch, but I feel like they went to the junkyard with us and got used on a truck subframe. That wasn't for me. So, I'll report back. Here's a close-up of the things I've cut. I'm hoping that gets it done. Like I said, I didn't bring the rack, so I can't test anything, but we are looking promising. I went and bought a bunch of cutoff wheels. This little flappy boy. So that's it for tonight. We got most of the cutting done. Now we can just go ahead. I'll probably grind the paint off because I don't like grinding when people are here. I also don't like filming when people are here, and that is why it's late and I'm the only one here. So guys, here it is, the final plan before we tack it all together. That's basically how it's gonna sit. This one is as close to this as I can get it. I hogged out behind it. This one, this back plate is kind of floating, but if you look in there, it is flat. So hopefully we can tack it in place. I can bolt the rack to it, check everything, make sure everything's straight. And then we'll go ahead, weld it all back up, maybe do some bracing on it, paint it or powder coat it. We'll have a budget rack relocation, which was the goal. Budget if you have access to simple tools. Bzz. Probably about 3 weeks later, but we finally made progress. So I went ahead and, as you saw, I had Jake weld the mounts on. I do not weld enough for me to make them structurally perfect, so we trusted him. So here's the final product. of the rack relocation. So that is right before I painted. So what I did, I went through, degreased it, and then hit it with a glass cleaner and a red scuff pad, and it will get entirely painted. That way these things don't rust, and other places like this ear that I ground down for a ground for the welder. Let me put the rack on quick, hang on. So this is with the rack on. There is barely space to get my finger in there. I can get it in there flat. We probably got about half an inch. I know the offset rack spacers do about an inch, and I know the FDF kit for $200 just about an inch and a half. So for $3.99 and a little bit of Jake's time, we got a half an inch out of the rack. Is it 100% straight? I don't know. Is it 100% level? I also don't know. But from the side, it's looking pretty sweet. So I got the PSM shaft on the car. It doesn't come with any instructions and it doesn't tell you how, but the bolt on the PSM shaft, so that goes on the opposite side of where it's flat. Now there's nothing that would indicate this, and there's no directions or anything. I just watched a quick video that I found from like a year ago by Parts Shop Max, showing that it went the opposite way. So now I got that on. I'm going to install this knuckle off camera because my phone's gonna die. I hope it's not too long, but we'll see. Guys, we are back. Same shit, different day. PBM spacer, I think I mentioned it. This video is all over the place. It's taken me like a month to film. So basically, I got it on. Let's check it out. So I can't find any videos of this PBM extension. So I'm going to add this part in there. Basically, when you move the rack forward, this can no longer reach this coupler. So you have to extend it. Because I didn't move my rack a whole inch and a half from PBM, this actually made it too long. So what I did, I couldn't get this shaft to come outwards. I talked to a guy from Texas who does rack relocations, and he said that he just pulls the shaft out a little bit, but being in upstate New York through multiple winters, this one wasn't gonna move. Basically, it's supposed to slide out of there. I heated that up. I tried to pull it out with a set of vice grips. I got it to work a little bit, but ultimately ended up hammering it in more, putting this extension on, then putting this on, and it was really close. So I actually dropped the rack, slid the coupler back on, and then when you put the rack back in place, this will slide, and then it'll be perfect length. Alright guys, so the Z is on the ground. GK Tech lower is installed. Here's what everything looks like, all said and done. Got the GK Tech lower, sway bar hooked up, coilovers adjusted, and this thing is going to party this year. I tried to set the caster as best I could, which is the forward back of the front wheel. I didn't want to rub through this, and I also didn't want to hit back there, so may have to adjust that one. In order to do that, you have to drop the whole like brace underneath, and it's a pain in the butt. But otherwise, good amount of poke coming out of the side of this thing. Not necessarily fitment, but drift fitment. I suspect it will settle as I roll on it, and then it'll be quite a bit lower probably. So I think the biggest issue with doing the control arms and the rack relocation and everything all at once is I do not have a good before and after of just the rack relocation, because I did motor mounts, control arms, literally everything. So per usual, thanks for watching, thanks for subscribing, and stay tuned for the next one.